Good morning from New York City. Before I get started today, I'd like to thank those of you who took the time to pop me a message that you had listened to Dear Constance. One thing I didn't mention last week is that I'm completely off social media for the month of January. And it's the first time I've ever done it. It's embarrassing to admit, but I've been feeling incredibly addicted, I would say, to Instagram. And when I say addicted, it's like it became a default behavior. When I looked at my messages or looked at my emails, I would automatically also open Instagram. That was one piece of it. I noticed that there was this default behavior. The other thing is that I was using it to entertain myself. I mean, I am endlessly entertained by Instagram. I have a lot of different interests. They are the masters of feeding information to you that aligns with what you've looked at in the past, what you've liked, and all of that. We all know this. And what it comes down to is that I felt like I had completely lost my sense of agency around what I was taking in. I was not directing my attention, it was being directed for me. So even though while we decide what we click on, what we listen to, the brilliance in how they feed it to us really led me to feel like I was completely at the mercy of the feed, I would say. Anyway, just to finish that, I originally thought I'm going to get off of Instagram for a year. And then I was like, that's ridiculous. Then I thought I'm going to limit how much time I spend on it. And I realized that for me, that wasn't going to work because I'm not the kind of person that eats one piece of chocolate. For me, it's no chocolate or as much chocolate as I feel like in any given moment. So I landed on 1 month. And interestingly, in the 48 hours leading up to it, I actually felt incredibly anxious. I love end of year predictions, reflections, summaries, the best of. Like, I really enjoy that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss all of that. But what happened was I was still jet lagging from having returned from Europe. I woke up at 5:30 that morning, and the first thing I did was I uninstalled Instagram. And I have to say, I haven't looked back. The other thing behind the Instagram story, besides wanting to take back my agency and direct my energy, is that almost wanted to get bored. It's like I want to be more creative. I'd like to record Dear Constance. I'd like to work on a blog, which is something that I have that I have not shared with anyone. I'd like to read more. I'd like to listen to music more, which is something that I don't do a lot of. Watch more movies. Instagram had really become an important form of entertainment for me. I've noticed that I've been going to bed earlier and sleeping longer hours. And that kind of aligns with January. It's like it's really dark, the days are shorter. Anyway, on to a couple of things that are on my mind this morning. One that's I'm sitting with right now, and I'm not sure why I'm sharing this, but I think there must be something there. One is that I've gotten my feelings hurt several times over the last month. I phrase it this way because things have offended me or angered me or caused me to retreat. It's little stuff, relatively unimportant stuff. So I've been sitting with it a little bit, and I realized that really what it is I got my feelings hurt. And the reaction or the retreat or anger, whatever came up for me, was the first thing that caught my attention. But when I thought about it, it's like, yeah, I have definitely been getting my feelings hurt. I think the reason I'm sharing that is because I've felt ashamed of myself a couple of times. In one case, I made a telephone call and expressed my anger on the phone. And in retrospect, I really wish I had handled that differently. And I feel like had I gotten to this language of having my feelings hurt, I would have handled that telephone call differently. I would have been less angry and more honest about how I was really feeling. In another instance, maybe actually two, I went silent on someone. And I could tell myself the story that they probably won't even notice or didn't even notice, but that's not the point. In reality, the feelings that I'm holding on to in my silence are much more about me than they are about the other person. In other words, I haven't completely let go of those feelings. And somewhere inside they're marinating, and I don't want to hold on to them. That's simply an energy I don't want circulating in my body because I actually think that's very harmful. It's almost like using the language or telling myself that I've simply had my feelings hurt somehow makes it easier for me to let it go and move on. And it brings me back to those thoughts of we never know what's going on in other people's life. We internalize, at least I'm speaking for myself right now, of course. I internalized, I don't know, being done wrong on some level. It's like self-inflicted damage. And it takes me too far from the compassion that I strive to cultivate in my life. I don't know who might need to hear that. And it feels a little funny that I'm sharing it. But like I said, I think it's easy to get our feelings hurt, to feel like we've been done wrong, to be disappointed. And the sooner we can just let it go and actually get to the thought of, I wonder what's going on in their world, the better. It's as simple as that. Interestingly, as I hear myself use this word marinate, a quote popped into my head that I read and took note of some time ago. It's a really good one. And it says, every cell in your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts. Every cell in your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts. That sort of says it all. Another thing that's on my mind this morning is the month of January is the month of the prefix re. If you're into astrology, you've probably heard that when there's a retrograde, things can go sideways, and that's a good time to retreat. And my thinking is that the entire month of January, independent of astrology, is the month to think about RE. I went to look at the definition of the prefix. Re can indicate repetition again and again, and it can also indicate withdrawal or backward motion, like to retype or retrace, that kind of thing. So if you want to play along with me, think a little bit about what the re's are in your life this month. Remember, recalibrate, rekindle, refocus, retrace, regenerate, reconsider, rejoice. So to end today, I'm going to share a couple of quotes. You know, I love my quotes. The first one makes me think of the phone call I regretted making, and it's this. Sometimes the thoughts in my head get so bored, they go out for a stroll through my mouth. This is rarely a good thing. Yeah, we all know that, right? The last one is this. Modern luxury is the ability to think clearly, sleep deeply, move slowly, and live quietly in a world designed to prevent all four. So I guess I could end by saying that January for me is both about redirecting my energy, reclaiming my agency as it relates to Instagram, rekindling my relationship with dear Constance. And it's also about rejoicing in my personal luxury. Modern luxury is the ability to think clearly, sleep deeply, move slowly, and live quietly in a world designed to prevent all four. So there you have it for today. I'll end here. Until next time, from my heart to yours.